Hey everyone, this is WobblyWallaby. Today I'll continue analyzing Hela. I'll be covering some buffs she got, some PvP testing with my friend Perky, and answering some of your questions. How good is Hela? Stay tuned to find out. In case you missed the first video about Hela, I'll put a link in the description. Part 2 contains more analysis as I play her more. First, Hela was buffed in the recent patch on the China beta test server. The affected skills icons are shown below. Her dogs will continue attacking the targets for 8 seconds before changing targets. Before that, if you did a hit and run attack, sometimes the dogs will stop attacking and that'd be very painful. This is what it looked like before the patch, where my dogs stop attacking Perky whenever I run around. A big thanks to Perky for helping me with the PvP testing. He's appeared in past videos before, and he's also shown up a lot in the comment section providing his analysis. Next, her damage reduction skill doesn't require her to be hidden. This is also a good change, and I was surprised it wasn't the case before. Finally, her status depressed that she can inflict on her enemies cannot be dispelled, so her damage over time will happen. This might seem overpowered, but I think this is necessary to counter people that use the Chimera Star card. If people have high poison resist, this can shut down her poison skills. The damage over time from depressed gives a chance to kill people over time. When I was facing off against Perky, he had the Chimera Star card on, and I did heavily rely on the damage over time to kill him since the poison wasn't doing that much to him. Overall, her buffs are great, and I hope they'll continue buffing her so she'll be even better at PvP. Next, one thing that I didn't show last time is once you hit the level 7 core passive, you can choose which attribute you want to steal from your opponent. You have one for each attribute. For example, I chose the red one to steal strength from my opponents. As you can see, while I'm hitting Perky, I'm able to steal strength from him. I get 23 strength. Now for some questions from the viewers. Rainer Ramos asks whether Unlimited or Hela's weapon is better. Her weapon is called Death Prayer and it gives 8 int, 16 luck, ignore magic defense plus 10%, max HP plus 5%, for every refine plus 1, neutral and poison attack plus 1%. When you increase your lowest attribute, increase your physical and magic damage reduction. This one's very conditional, so I'm not a huge fan of it since it depends what you're stealing. And you can boost your max HP percentage depending on your refine level, and at max you also get skill damage reduction. Now if you compare this with Unlimited, which is basically a damage boosting weapon that is used by a lot of magic classes, we can clearly see from a survivability point of view, Hela's weapon is better. For damage, we'll have to run a few damage tests. Keep in mind that if the player has very high poison resistance, then it is possible for the poison increase of this weapon to be offset. The target I'm hitting here have no poison resistance. I'll be using a plus 15 Unlimited. My Bottle Ghost hits for 19.6 million. Next I switch to the Death Prayer, and hit it for 20.7 million. But how about the dogs, do they hurt more? With Unlimited, the dog hits for 6.22 million. With Death Prayer, it hits for 7.29 million. The neutral damage increase is benefiting the dogs quite a lot, since they do neutral magic damage. So for both survivability and damage, I would choose to invest in the new weapon. If you need the BCC to buy the Hela pack so you can get the plus 10 weapon right away, then try Smile.One, which allows you to get discounted BCC and premiums for Ragnarok Mobile. They've been around for more than 8 years and have lots of global business partners for other games too. I'll put a link in the description if you want to check them out. Thanks to Smile.One for sponsoring this video. Now if you want to start hoarding or farming her materials, here's her base weapon for refining and socketing. You'll need a bunch of Aldebaran materials, which include memory gems, glitter shells, time twisters, and temporal crystals. Next, Roy Grace asked about doing PvE with the debuff skill. For Blood of the Dead, one important thing to note is it only deals with HP loss turning to healing, and many skills do not result in HP loss, including auto attacks. So unless the mobs or bosses are resulting in HP loss, this won't actually protect you much at all. Here I cast Blood of the Dead, but I find I'm still dying like crazy to this mob. I find that my survivability comes more from my dogs attacking, which gives me HP, or from using the Seated Yggdrasil card. I think if you do the DPS build, you do need the Yggdrasil card to survive. Next, here's a short clip of me versing the Legend Golem. I do have lots of survivability and healing, but my damage just isn't enough, so you will eventually die to its instant kill skills. Next, Bella Can Breed asks about the Chimera Star card and whether that card adds anything to her damage output. The damage dealt to poison targets is plus 20%, and all poison attack plus 50% is what can make this card potentially very powerful. To test this, I hit mobs in Echoing Corridor since the damage is consistent and they can be poisoned. First, without the card equipped. The Ghost Bottle hits for 7.9 million initially. Then the damage over time is 797,000 per tick. Next, I'll equip the Chimera Star card. The Ghost Bottle hits now for 8.1 million, and the damage over time is 815,000 per tick. I'd say the Chimera Star card does add to her damage output, and this is confirmed by facing these mobs in Echoing Corridor. Note that I'm not using any Echoing Corridor buffs in this recording. Next, Latios V asks if any classes can kill her easily and if any classes can tank her efficiently. I'd say for any DPS class, if you're able to hit her before she can hit you, then you'll be able to do quite well. If she cannot attack you, the dogs won't be able to attack you either, and also if she doesn't hit you with a spell, her ability to heal will also suffer. Here I am fighting Perky. I was doing a lot of hit and run, but if I decide to stand still, then I will get roasted by his Genos. If you're unable to outrange her, if you can get up close and be able to stun her or freeze her before she can attack you, it is also possible to take her down quite quickly. One unfortunate thing about getting the 80 stat points so she can get better skills is that it was really hard to get. When I was fighting Perky, I could rarely ever get to 80 stat points before dying. If you keep Hela dead often, then it's hard for her to reach her true potential since it will be hard to get her 80 stat points right away. As for tanking her, I would say use the Chimera Star card and try to outrun her. Perky was using the Chimera Star card and it's hard for me to kill him. He also melts me with Genos if I get too close. Next, Mohammed Farid asks if multiple enemies get hit in PvP, does she steal stats from all enemies that she hits? And will all the stolen stats accumulate and add to her stat? I couldn't test this against players, but against monsters, the stat points only go up 7 at a time. Monsters get 7 int, dex, and luck stolen each time, but even hitting multiple won't suddenly give you a huge jump. The mechanics for stealing attributes between monsters and players are quite close, so I wouldn't imagine it's any different for players. For her stats adding to her own, yes it does. Here I start with 37,000 magic attack. As I hit my dummy, the int goes up and you can also see my magic attack increasing as well. Next, Kaya asks about the tank meta. I think this is her best build in PvP, and I think she's a bit too fragile without it. Also, the dev suggested an HP build, as you can see from her recommended build guide for Hela. Next, Elmore John Guzman asks if the dogs can see hidden targets. Unfortunately, the dogs cannot, and unless you can see it and you attack it, the dogs won't attack anything either. One odd thing that Perky thought was kinda buggy is that if you're invisible, your dogs are not. You can see his 2 dogs are visible, which kinda gives away his location. Lastly, Uganda Knuckles was asking about the debuff against SP Stellar Hunters. Yes, it's very unfortunate that the damage type for Star Arrows is HP loss, so it will end up healing Hela instead of damaging her. And yes, this will be super annoying for SP style hunters who've invested a lot and now get screwed over by Hela. That's all for now. If you have any more questions, please let me know in the comments section. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe.